Twilight Zone Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays in a row. I'm doing great. This week's episode is the Howling Man from season 2. This episode opens with Ellington telling us a story. He's talking directly to the camera about when he got lost on a walking trip through Europe, which the term walking trip gives me a lot of questions. So Ellington goes to a place called the Hermitage and begs to be let in by a man with a really long beard and a staff. And this place is filled with hairy men with long beards and staffs. Staffs? Ellington is taken to see Brother Jerome, and on his way there, he hears howling and he's told it's just the wind. Brother Jerome says they can't help him, they can't give him shelter or food, and then Ellington ends up passing out either from sickness or exhaustion, and then Rod Serling tells us that he is seeking shelter in a corner of the Twilight Zone. Ellington wakes up, he hears the howling again, he finds a man that is locked up, and the man tells him, I was just out kissing a girl, and Brother Jerome starts hitting me over and over with his staff. And he says these people aren't religious, they're mad. Brother Jerome tells Ellington,
"You saw is not a man. It is the devil himself."
He tells a story about how they found the devil in a small village. Ellington says that he will not speak a word of this, and Brother Jerome says that he can leave tomorrow. So they're letting him stay the night for his silence. What does Ellington do? He goes directly to the Howling Man and says that Brother Jerome says, you're the devil. Of course, he denies it. That night, Ellington sneaks out of his room, goes back to the Howling Man, and takes the staff off the door. We get this amazing transformation that takes seconds, but honestly, watching the full episode is worth watching these few seconds. As he's walking, every time he passes a pillar, he turns more and more into his form of the devil, and then he disappears into a cloud of smoke. Brother Jerome is like, you are going to remember tonight because you are the one that let the devil loose on the world. Chilling. Now we cut to the present where Ellington is finishing his story, and we see that he is telling his story to his housekeeper, and he ends it by saying that he actually recaptured the devil, has him locked in his house, and he's being held by a tiny little staff on the door, and he says, you cannot open this door, and then he leaves. The housekeeper hears howling and then takes the tiny staff off the door. Why you would do this after you hear the howling, I have no idea. She opens the door, we see black, and that is the end of the episode. This episode was directed by Douglas Hayes, who actually has directed a number of episodes, but he did one of my favorites from season 1, After Hours. I loved this episode. When it started going into it, I did not think I was going to like it. The tone of this episode feels different than most Twilight Zone episodes, and the way the camera is, I feel like we're feeling the illness, the exhaustion from Ellington as he's going through this. The sets in this, the look was so good. When he goes into the Hermitage, amazing. Something that I've been forgetting to talk about in my episodes recently, and it's been driving me crazy, is if I feel like this episode could still work today. And I definitely feel like this would be great today. And in this one, the transformation was so cool for the time. That was my favorite part of the episode. I think that now we could do an even cooler transformation, as long as it's not too CGI. Thank you for listening to me talk about another episode of The Twilight Zone. Next week I am talking about one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. It is a top 5 episode for me, Eye of the Beholder. I'm really excited to talk about this one, so let's rediscover it together.